Welcome Jiu-Jitsu Scholars for another video where we are going to be discussing the current head of the Zen'in clan as far as the anime goes, which is Naobito Zen'in. That's right, that drunk that has a disdain for Maki and her sister is the topic of today's video. Before we get into talking about Naobito and his abilities and characteristics, how about you guys go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, my people. I appreciate everyone who has so far, and then hit the noti bell. Naobito Zen'in, he is, like I said before, a drunk. However, that drunk is the head of the Zen'in clan and has named Megumi Fushiguro as his next head of the Zen'in clan. So he at least is smart enough to acknowledge who is the strongest as far as Zen'in members go after himself. Which is funny because he has a son. He has a son who is arguably stronger than he is when it comes to projection sorcery. However, let's get into that when we get into his son's videos. So just let that marinate, alright? So covering this drunken old fool's personality, let's talk about the fact that he is very narcissistic. He is very much so on the side of, hey, if your grade is like, say, semi-grade 1, grade 1, or, you know, above, then you're the GOAT. You are the GOAT in this man's eyes because ultimately he cares about the status more than he cares about the person. That's why he treats Maki so poorly, because her status is very low, because she doesn't have a lot of cursed energy, and she's not Toji Zen'in or Toji Fushiguro. Basically the same person, just different times that he takes on different names. What I'm trying to tell you is that Naobito really thinks about the fact that if you are from one of the big three clans, then you should be a GOAT. You should be a grade 1 sorcerer. Why are you not a grade 1 sorcerer? Because I am, so why are you not? And that's his mentality. So if you don't like him, I understand, because I don't like how he treats Maki. It's pretty disrespectful. It's pretty disrespectful how he treats both of them. So, but one thing I cannot deny is the fact that he is strong. You don't get to the head of one of the big three families by not being strong. So starting off with his skills, we're gonna just stay off the bat. He understands the battlefield. He is very knowledgeable on the battlefield. His battle IQ shows, and it shows versus the fight with Dagon. Because that's really all we have to go off of for his battle IQ. Because we see him in that fight versus Dagon, and then we kind of see him in a fight with Jogo. But if you saw my Jogo explain video, then you know how I feel about that fight. So we're going to go off a lot on the Dagon fight here. His skills don't just lie on the battlefield, but they also lie in basically on his deathbed when he's making decisions like that. But he is able to go up against a special grade curse, obviously, and survive. Obviously, he did not survive by himself, but it did show us if he didn't get fooled by the domain expansion, he would have exercised Dagon by himself. So he is a skillful jiu-jitsu sorcerer. He's not one of your average jiu-jitsu sorcerers that we saw in like episode 0 getting absolutely taken out by Ghetto's cursed spirits. And then when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, obviously he was able to throw down with Dagon. So yeah, we're gonna give it to him. We saw him throw down with Dagon. We saw him physically beat Dagon down. Both his strength and his speed and his hand-to-hand combat were at a high enough caliber where he was able to beat a special grade curse basically by himself. And not to mention the fact that his speed alone, he is the fastest jiu-jitsu sorcerer other than Satoru Gojo, of course. But when you're not talking about Gojo, he is literally the fastest thanks to his curse technique, which we'll get to towards the end of the video. This is one of the many times that he shows us how intelligent he is. He was smart enough to hit Dagon at exact moments where Dagon was trying to use his technique, and Dagon was realizing, yo, I can't use my technique. He's stopping me. Every single time I try to, he's getting to me, so I cannot activate my technique. I don't have enough time. He needed time to create his, to expand his domain. He had to fool him to get that time because he realized, and that shows Dagon's intelligence, but he just couldn't do his domain expansion. He couldn't use his technique because Naobito was just getting to him faster. He was hitting him hard enough to disorientate him, and he was able to stop him from using his technique. It shows us a plethora of his skill sets right there. I'm not gonna lie, this dude's definitely the head of the Zen'in clan, because going up a special grade curse that you've never seen before and that just fully manifested in front of you, yeah, that's pretty impressive. I will say though, if it was one of the other disaster curses, maybe Hanami in my opinion like is about the same in Dagon's realm when it comes to that strength, but maybe Hanami would have given Naobito a better fight, but Obviously, Jogo and Mahito would have defeated Naobito one-on-one, getting jumped. It doesn't matter. But it still shows us that he was strong enough to take out Dagon by himself, and that's impressive on its own. He saved Maki from getting killed. He saved Nanami basically from getting killed, even though Nanami wasn't in the exact situation as Maki, but we all know that Nanami wouldn't have came out that battle unscarred. But I know what you guys are thinking. You want to know about his curse technique, his cursed energy, and we are here to answer those questions. Unfortunately, he does not have a domain expansion, so we can't talk about that. But his son does, so in his video, we're going to talk about that because they basically have the exact same technique. His son just has a better version of it. So his curse technique is called Projection Sorcery, and this is what allows him to be the fastest Jujutsu sorcerer in the entire world right after Satoru Gojo. So Projection Sorcery is basically Naobito taking 1 second, 1 full second, and breaking that second up into 24 frames of predetermined movement. So he uses his field of view in order to break himself up into 24 frames. And what I mean by frames is, say one frame is me moving like this. The other frame is me moving like this. The other frame is me moving like this. He does all that. He does 24 frames of that. And if he follows those frames to a T with no mistake and no like crazy, like unbelievable moves that he makes in it, like if it's unrealistic, like say he's moving like this, but next thing you know, he's completely turned around. Yeah, you can't really do that without having some other like shifting motion. So as long as he doesn't break his own rules like that, then he is able to basically move like the Flash. He's able to move within a second. He's able to move so quick that the eye cannot track it. However, it doesn't just make him move super quickly, like I stated. It also allows him, while his technique's activated, to touch somebody with his palm. And if he makes contact with that person, now you have to abide by that same rule. And obviously, you can't break up your 1 second into 24 frames. So, if you can't do that, then guess what, buddy? You get frozen in 1 second. Like 1 full second, you get frozen in like a glass animation, like screen panel type thing. And then Naobito puts the beating down. But say you were able to see your frames and you were able to make the movements, right? Well, then you would be moving and essentially pretty quickly, just like Naobito. However, most people aren't accurate enough with their movement to move exactly the way that their frames are, the way that you thought about how your body's gonna move. Like, think about that for a second. You're thinking how you're going to move, but you have to execute that perfectly. So unless you have full bodily control and you are very precise when you're making these movements, like you don't have all day to make this movement. So if you can't execute it, yeah, you're still going to get frozen and you're still going to get beat down on. And that's why this technique is so powerful. And honestly, Naobito and like the Zen'in family, they have some pretty good techniques. And him and his son having so much cursed energy because they're part of the Zen'in clan is a testament to this technique, because projection sorcery is difficult to pull off. It is not easy by no means. And I hope you guys understand, when we saw him fighting Dagon, if he didn't have this technique, yeah, he probably would have lost. But I mean, like, if Gojo didn't have the Limitless, then like, nah, in the manga, we actually found out that Gojo's the strongest because he's Satoru Gojo. So never mind on that one. But what I'm trying to tell you is this technique's goated. So that's everything you need to know about Naobito Zen'in and the fact that he is the head of the Zen'in clan. He's that guy. So if you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then hit the noti bell. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video.